Digital Marketing Doctor here. My name is Nate. Thanks for tuning in. As we close out the year of 2020, it's a year that we all want to put behind us. Whether you're a small business owner or an employee that lost your job, it's been difficult on all of us. So I want to talk into the average small business and how they choose to handle their capital versus the wise small business. So take a look. So these average Joe folks have plans, they have goals, they want to make money, but from getting from point A to point B, they fail to see the value of marketing and advertising. These are the folks that typically hang up on me. These are the folks that tell me no, and these are the folks that before we even engage in a conversation are quick to judge and say, well, how much is it going to cost? So instead of looking at that marketing dollar as an investment back into their own business to kind of feed the baby or be basically that fuel that provides that engine to create revenue, they see it as a complete loss and a depreciable asset. But the reality is marketing is not a depreciable asset. It is something that's crucial in this 2020 environment. And a lot of the businesses that have gone under because they're average Joes are because they didn't have any marketing plan in play. If this represents the average small business, this is how most business owners that I speak to are currently using their assets. So if they aren't set up as a limited liability company or a corporated business, Uncle Sam's going to come ahead and take at least 30% from you right off the top. So if you don't have any tax protections in play, any kind of business expenses are basically coming out of your pocket and out of your profit right out of the get-go. And if you're at certain levels, they may even take 40%. So you're left essentially with 60% of your gross average earnings before you even pay any bills. Now, at this point, any good business will take that remainder and invest it towards building the business. So let's say you have to pay your business expenses to keep the lights on, and you pay your employees to basically manage and work for you. You're left with 2 cents. You're left with 20% of your gross annual revenue, and it's hard to operate on that. So even if you're making $100K in gross revenue and you're only paying yourself $20,000, is that really even worth the point? So this is how the average small business operates, and they haven't even considered marketing. So we don't have any kind of traffic plans, any advertising, anything in play to help fuel the engine to that business. And I would have to say, folks, that 80 to 90% of the small businesses that I have the blessing to speak with on a daily basis across all industries fall in that average Joe category. Now, they come in ill-equipped to understand how marketing and advertising is not only just a, luxury item, but it's a fundamental and crucial component of your business plan. Now, on the other hand, not the average Joe type of business, but the wise type of business, they understand the tax implications of the business structure. So these are the 10 percenters, the 15 percenters that I have a chance to speak with every day. They're not the dreamers or the upstarts. These are folks that are established and have developed some business acumen and have more of a coachable mindset. So they have tax, strategies to make sure that any business expenses are being able to be taken care of ahead of time, so paying bills. And these folks understand the value of marketing. So if said business collects $100,000 in revenue, they understand that 25 to 30%, depending upon the age of the business, must be marketed, or allocated towards marketing and advertising. So how does the wisest small business operate in America? Well, for one, they make sure that they have tax strategies built into forming an LLC or something to protect their personal assets. So what that can often mean is that instead of that 30 to 40% that goes directly over to Uncle Sam, you can begin to pay for your business expenses first. Now, what's that mean? The wise business knows that if it has 100% of revenue or 10 dimes, that it's wise to market, to spend 30% of that into marketing. marketing, okay? Because that marketing is fuel for your business. It builds brand awareness, advertising, and top of mind for your clients. Now, you can spend your money and waste it in advertising on things such as print, being in the phone book, or postcards, but the reality is that is going to yield basically nothing. There's going to be nothing in return for that investment. It's 2020, folks, so instead of throwing those dimes down the toilet and throwing them away, let's invest that into online solutions. We're talking social media marketing, search ads, display campaigns, anything that's going to basically set you apart from your competition, so that instead of putting that $30 down the toilet where it goes nowhere, you can start to see some money in your pocket. So it needs to yield a return on investment. Now, each and every day that I talk to businesses, they're kind of hem-ha, I need to decide, I don't know if it's a wise investment, but yet they're going out there buying $8 coffees, coloring their hair for $100 a pop, and they're just completely blowing away their money. So instead of feeding the whys of the small business, they're feeding themselves. So let's say that you do put that marketing dollar into online solutions. You're left with basically 70% of your gross revenue. At that point, Uncle Sam comes in and takes your taxes. So you might be able to get in a corporate rate of as little as 20%. Great. So we're left with about 50% of what we originally started with. So at this point, we've already paid for our marketing. We've already paid Uncle Sam what he's owed. So you have 50% of your gross revenue. Being wise with your money so that you can adequately invest. Now, let's say you want to buy some new equipment. That's a healthy investment. Let's say you want to make sure that you're making sure that your employees are reimbursed. That's great. So you're still left with that 20% of income, but guess what? Because you were wise and you marketed and you're a wise small business instead of just the average small business, this is what happens to your earnings. You get a significant return on investment. So if you can calculate how much average customer or client is worth to you, exponent the average of what it can basically bring in, you're left with a lot more dollar at the end of the day. So instead of being that average small business that's maybe left with 20%, let's get smart and get together some solutions so that we can bring your business into the wise zone instead of that average Joe zone. So the wise business owner makes sure that they have tax strategy in play. Often these folks have an attorney. They're actually a limited liability company, a C corporation, or an S corp because they want to protect their personal assets and keep their business mutually exclusive. A lot of folks that I talk to have different channels of business. So, for example, they may have an umbrella company and then sub companies below, because if one of those channels happens to, be bleeding and not perform, it doesn't suck from the other companies. These folks are usually about the 10 to 15 percenters that I speak with. And they understand how important and vital marketing and advertising is, not just coming out of their experience, in the 2000s, but understanding that 2021, it's more important than ever before. So these folks can either invest their marketing dollar in small returning on investment products and services, or they can start to understand that, it's 2021. And a lot of stuff is happening online and we're moving into a virtual world. So it's wise to put that marketing dollar to work for you so that it can yield a return on investment into the upcoming year. So what comprises the average Joe business? Well, they have no sound plan or strategy. They dismiss the value of marketing. They poorly allocate their capital. They operate quite often on thin margins. They don't know their consumer, they're unwilling to change, and they lack a coachable attitude. All in all, they're demonstrating below the line thinking. On the other hand, what does the wise business have? They typically have a solid, trackable plan. They're able to track their advertising and marketing conversions. They're able to adapt to changing conditions. They always have the spirit of growth. They're the innovators, those that possess a coachable attitude, and they often defy the odds in a tough climate. All in all, the above-the-line wise business demonstrates the above-the-line thinking. So choose if you're going to be a part of the wise or just the average. Please visit digitalmarketing.doctor. So whether your business is going to be a wise business in 2021, or if you're just going to become an average Joe, a victim to a bad environment, a victim to fear, a victim to multiple restrictions that can seem to choke us off in business, that's entirely up to you. You have that choice. But the reality is, you don't have to be a victim. You just have to be coachable. You have to be open to other solutions, and you have to start relying on the math. Because the reality is, when you put out that many ads on a social channel, on display networks, across search, there's that break-even point where it starts to yield that return on investment. I mean, think about it, folks. Do you start investing in your 401k when you turn 64 and begin to start drawing it on it when you're 65? No, heavens no. Wise businesses operate much the same. So private message me below. As you're kind of flicking through Facebook, you'll notice the sponsored ads. I can help lead you to those solutions and put you in a package that's going to be adequate for you. So not only do I have access to a lot of resources through my day job, but I also run a coaching and consulting company from a business perspective that helps you see even outside of the online specter in terms of systems with your business body, your business mind, and your business spirit to identify those bleed points and leak points that are just costing you money. And at the end of the day, it takes money to make money. So as the coin shows, nothing changes if nothing changes. Flip it once, and if nothing changes, nothing changes. Happy New Year, and let's bust into 2021 with the right solutions, the right attitude, so that you can win in this upcoming year. So what I want you to take from this lesson is, don't be an average Joe. Be a wise one when it comes to your business decisions. I mean, we certainly want to move forward with care and understand risk and reward, but don't be so buckled in fear that you're not able to make a decision. Because with each passing day that decision holds, or you don't choose to move forward, you're losing revenue. Because I want to always remind you that if nothing changes, and just like this, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So make sure you're not just flipping that coin, being random with your marketing. Oh, I'll put some dollars here, I'll put some dollars there. Because the reality is, if you're not tracking things and understanding that if nothing changes, nothing changes, you're dead in the water, folks. I'm here to help you out.